Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, 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 testing. Testing. Testing, testing. Perfect.
I gotta change my name because it's for my work.
Oh gosh. What's
Better.
going on?
Hi, Tay. Oh, look at that shrine to yourself behind you.
That was my office, you know.
You just moved in, and the first thing you did was put all your posters up of yourself.
Right. I had to.
I have that one, the one that's like the Mason logo and then my picture.
Oh yeah.
Gave me one on senior night. It's like probably my most prized possession.
Oh shoot. Hold on. All right, I had the live going on YouTube, so I was hearing both.
Oh wow, you really would hate to see it.
All right, so we're live. We're live on YouTube, and I'm about to introduce it. All right, and then we're gonna go right into it. All right, so we only got 30 minutes, so we're gonna
talk fast.
All right, cool. All right, so here we go. It's Thursday, November 5th, 2020. I'm Taylor Brown, and this is How I Did It, the show where we talk with champions about how they achieve their dreams. Or we got somebody coming in. Cool. All right, the show where we talk with champions about how they achieve their dreams. On today's show, we're here talking with Tess Weiss. Tess Weiss is a former coordinator for the Garden of Dreams Foundation at the world's famous Madison Square Garden. And Tess was a formerly manager for George Mason University as well as George Washington University. So Tess, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Anything for you, Tay. P. Taylor Brown. No,
all right, so first question, Tess. How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing really good. Honestly, I mean, minus like the election, not knowing, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Even better now we're doing this interview.
Oh, good.
All right, Tess. So we all know, New York City got hit pretty hard by COVID. So, what happened while you were there?
Well, essentially the city just like shut down overnight. So I definitely was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And my parents were like, you gotta come home because it's not safe out there. So I was like, okay. So I went home and I figured I'd be home for like 3 weeks. And then I ended up being home for like 6 months. But work-wise, they were like, yeah, everybody's working from home indefinitely. And every event that I was working on was gonna turn somehow virtual. So they like sent us laptops overnight and we just continued to work until August when they laid off like 30% of the corporate office. And unfortunately, I lost my job. So that's how the pandemic hit me. So, and New York.
Got you. So what has COVID, the pandemic, done in general? What has it done to sports?
Well, it's changed everything because if you think about sports, like what's a huge part of sports is having people watch it, right? Like playing a game in front of no people is a lot different than playing in front of, 15 or 16,000 people like there were at the Garden. So, I mean, I watched it happen. I was at the Garden, I don't know, March 10th for the Big East tournament. And I was there and there were people there. And then the next day they were like, the rest of the tournament is canceled and there'll be no fans. At first it was no fans and then the whole thing was canceled. So a short of, playing with no fans, right? Sports is different, right? You don't have people coming into the arena. You don't have to have activations on, on the concourse. You don't have to have pregame, postgame. So the whole, everything that I did for Madison Square Garden, for the Knicks, for the Rangers, it was completely changed because we didn't have access to the games like we used to. So I think sports has changed completely. But we do have things like the bubble and the wubble and people playing sports in front of no fans. But I think that really takes away from what the whole point of it is.
Right. All right, Tess. So, you and I go way back. George Mason since 2016. So, what are you doing now?
Well, I'm just trying to make it. No, so I lost my job and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I knew I wanted to leave New York. And so I decided that I wanted to come back to the DMV, but I needed a job. So I just kind of put my feelers out there and decided to change career paths for the time being. And now I'm working as a coordinator for a home health agency. And my side job is that I work with teens in like a youth group setting. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of what I did at the Garden minus like the whole sports thing. But I felt confident enough to like take a pivot from what I was doing because my main thing was like that I needed a job. So I think that it was really important, for me to just find a way to continue my lifestyle, build my skills so that when the world looks a lot different, hopefully I can go back into the to the sports world. And I'm also taking a course at Hopkins on sports and philanthropy. So I'm still keeping that like in my back pocket. It's just kind of impossible right now.
Understood. So again, for everybody that's watching, we're here with Tess Weiss, and this is how I did it. So Tess, next question. I mean, that's interesting you brought that up. You're taking a course. So I wanted to ask you, are you done with sports? Like, has this like completely, like kind of killed it for you, or you still want to stay in sports in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it killed it for me. I think it killed the Garden and New York for me because I really thought I had it figured out. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I'm going to rise all the way up at this company. And, but to be honest, when something happens like that, you're like, okay, I don't have to stay there. Like my life is still going to be good. I think I want to get back into sports eventually, but I would have to continue to do like the philanthropy side of it because I mean, sports can do so much for the world and it's not all about making money. So, I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, understood. So Tess, you and I are connected on LinkedIn, and about 3 weeks ago, I saw your message, and I really appreciate it because you put yourself out there. You're honest about the situation. So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go back and read that message. I have a question about it.
Okay.
All right, so here we are 3 weeks ago. Tess goes, what a crazy time, dot, 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 dot. I never would have imagined what would happen during this time, but I feel grateful and hopeful for the future. As many of you know, I was recently let go from the Garden of Dreams Foundation at Madison Square Garden Company, along with my incredible team and so many other hardworking, capable colleagues. While this was initially a very sad and disheartening moment, I chose to take a step back and figure out what would be next for me. I decided to take a leap of faith and step outside of the sports and entertainment space for a role that continued to allow for the creation of impact. While this role might look and sound different, the values of this role remain the same. My end goal is to always create impact and develop a strong community. For those of you looking for a job or are finding yourselves lost in this process, take a step back and think about what matters to you most. Success should be measured by staying true to your values and morals and not just about the momentary amount. So stay tuned for what is next. Appreciate that post, Tess. So my question is, what do you mean by the creation of impact?
So I didn't even know what impact was like until I started working for the Garden. So impact, I think, is when you're able to kind of leave a mark on someone, and not just you as an individual, but your organization or your program or whatever you do. And when I was at the Garden, I was able to create a lot of impact with a lot of kids by creating experiences that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So I think that in whatever role that I take, what I meant by that was in whatever role I take, I have to be able to help someone improve their quality of life, right? So now I'm working with like old people. And while it's very different than working with the kids of New York City, I'm still helping them improve the quality of their life. I'm giving them an opportunity my company is giving them an opportunity to get services that they maybe wouldn't have had, right? So bringing someone into their home to help them become more independent or able to do things on their own. So it's kind of like a lot less glamorous, but it is truly the same thing. And even with my part-time job, working with teens, I'm able to give them the time and space to figure out who they are and the type of people that they want to be. And to me, that's the most important.
Gotcha. Sounds good. So, do you miss New York, Tess?
No. It's dirty. No, no, I don't. I don't, because I was there for 4 years, and I lived in lots of different apartments in lots of different boroughs. And I think the thing I don't like about New York is people are just not nice,
Yeah.
I mean, living in the city was really fun, and it had, all of its perks. But when I thought about like going back to the city, like mid-COVID, I said absolutely not. And I think also it was really good for me personally to get away from the tri-state area. Living with your parents is not easy. Living, with your friends that you've had forever is not always easy. So I wanted to come to a place where I could kind of start fresh. And this isn't like really starting fresh, because this is like home to me, but I'm living in a new city, like new job, new everything. So I really kind of just wanted that.
Understood. Again, for everyone that's watching, we're here with Tess Weiss, and this is how I did it. So, Tess, just a few more questions left. All right. So, next question: what's the biggest lesson that you learned from COVID? It's tough, right?
Nothing is as it seems.
Mm.
And I think, everything happens this is so corny, but everything happens for a reason, because I probably would have sat in that chair in the garden, living in a shoebox apartment for years and never thought to change.
Mm.
And I didn't even know that there could be a change. So yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. And like, obviously COVID sucks, and obviously the world is upside down. So it's like not all perfect, but I don't know. I'm just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah. No, I understand. Tess, it looks like so you stayed in the field of helping people. That's part of like your life, right? Like your impact, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do you like what you're doing now, versus what you're doing in New York, or is it still like the same?
I miss my job. I miss being at the garden, and I miss the perks that go with that. But I'm happy that I have a job. Like, I know people who are unemployed for months because of COVID. So, I'm happy that I have a job. I'm happy that a hiring manager saw something in me, right? Because I interviewed for hundreds of jobs and didn't get any of them. So, yeah, so it's just like, I don't know. I'm just grateful to have a job. I know I deserve it because I've worked really hard, but I'm still just really grateful. So I can't even say, just because it's not like the same doesn't mean it's worse,
Understood. Yeah. All right, Tess, we're down to our last 3 questions that I ask every interviewee. So, first one, what inspires you?
Yeah, but we didn't.
I don't know. I think what inspires me the most is like the people around me. Like, my friends really inspire me. My parents really inspire me. I think I have a lot of mentors that really inspire me. And I think just like, the overarching thing is that I'm inspired by helping people and then seeing, those things come to fruition.
Understood. Next question. What is your pet peeve?
I think when people insert themselves where they don't belong. I think people really could learn to stay in their lane. Like, in every aspect of life.
Stay in their lane.
Please.
All right. Last question. What is your guilty pleasure?
That's really easy. Watching all reality TV, Housewives, Kardashians, whatever random dating show is on Netflix. I love reality TV. Love it. And everybody hates it. I don't get it.
Got you. Makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. Okay. Okay. All right.
Nah, but Tess, thank you for coming on the show. That's all the time we have for today. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, will you be back? We do another one?
I don't know. You'll have to call my people.
Call your people. All right. Sounds like a plan. But nah, for real. Thank you for coming on the show, Tess. Where can people find you on socials? Are you on
They
Twitter?
really can't because I am off of Instagram. They can follow me on Twitter at TurnUpTess, but I have been off of Instagram since May. So
maybe it was in the first.
I definitely took a break during COVID, and I don't really plan on going back.
Okay, understood. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. I'd like to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Spacey Cloud for sponsoring this podcast, How I Did It, and The Loop, for letting us use the space to do the podcast as well. So that's a wrap for episode 5. And thanks again. See y'all next time. No problem.